This will just be a real quick video on cleaning up these stainless steel stoves. This is our 1989 Prevost Country Coach stove, and those two wash rags right there, we put those in there under the cover when we're on the road, because sometimes you get a little bit of rattle there from those two cast iron stovetop pieces. But anyway, when we got this Country Coach, it was 30 years old, and so looking at the stove, you can see that once we tore it apart, it had a lot of rust under here, and it was just overall kind of dirty and disgusting. And so we carefully tore this thing apart. It's got little screws that you take out and little components that come apart. You can see here the little burner hooks onto this to the valve, and then the gas comes through this little port here and feeds the burner. But we carefully tore this thing apart, clear down to the pan. And I always like to take pictures of all these components. That way when you go to put the thing back together, you put it together exactly like it came apart. And then once we had it completely apart, we cleaned up the pan, cleaned up all the screws, cleaned up all the components, and then we used a high heat flat black paint, and we repainted the unit, several coats, allowing them to dry overnight. Both sides, on the underside of the pan as well as the upper side of the pan, and cleaned this up real nice. And then we reinstalled the components back into the stove. This is the process of cleaning it. Now the stainless steel parts, you have to be careful that you don't scratch those all up, so it takes a little bit of time and just gently cleaning those things up. The burners turned out really nice and clean. Cleaned up the knobs and the feed tubes going to the burners. And then looking back at your pictures, then you reinstall everything just like it came apart. All the individual pieces and the little plates, put everything back in. And it turns out really nice. And there you go. That's it. Like I say, take pictures when you tear these things apart so that you put them back together exactly like they did come apart. And gently clean them up, wash them up, paint what can be painted with a nice quality high heat paint, and put it back together. All right, thanks for watching.